button because sometimes I forget to do that. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Scarpad here, and tonight, believe it or not, we have finished an era. This is the whole night of firsts and lasts. This is the first time a James Bond movie had a disclaimer. If you watch the movie, there's a disclaimer because a company called Zoran thought that Zoran was too close. It's the first time a James Bond movie theme hit #1 in the Billboard charts. Duran Duran's View to a Kill, which is a great fucking song. This is a bunch of lasts, too. Last time we see Lois Maxwell playing Moneypenny. She's done. She's out of the James Bond franchise, but that's not as big as the biggie, last Roger Moore movie. We're finally here, everybody. The last Roger Moore movie. This movie came out in 1985. It was produced for $30 million. It grossed 152, a little bit less, but the 85 was a bad year for movies. Everything was bombing. This movie did pretty well. Most of the critics pegged this movie and said, Roger Moore, he's kind of looking fucking old in this movie. Roger Moore didn't even like this movie. He said that he found out that his co-star's mother, Tammy Roberts' mother, was younger than he is. And he did look kind of old in this flick. But more and more as this went on, I appreciated this movie more. I didn't like it as much, but now I kind of really like it. It has a good performance, of course, from Christopher Walken as a mad, psychotic villain. Tammy Roberts is looking hot. We had Grace Jones in this movie, kicking ass, and of course Bond gets to sleep with her. We even had Dolph Lundgren in a cameo that if you blinked, you missed. Why was he Dolph Lundgren in this movie? Because he was dating Grace Jones at the time. That's why. So to talk about all this, my buddy, he's back. Dylan, how you doing, Dylan?
What up, motherfucker?
And they didn't talk as long this time. I cut it short.
You mean
talk for an hour?
Hit record this time. That's the big.
That's the big one. As long as you hit record, you can do whatever you want. Yeah. We also had Patrick McNee in this movie from the Avengers. He was fantastic. The score was John Barry. I love the score in this movie. It had some good set pieces. It had some bad set pieces. We can discuss all that. But this basically is a plot by Max Zorin to destroy Silicon Valley so that the price of multi-processor chips would go up, I guess. And he's going to blow up the dam and basically flood Silicon Valley. And we get some good stuff in this movie. We get some good chase scenes. We get some bad chase scenes. I didn't particularly like the whole fire truck sequence. We can talk about that. But also we had some goofy stuff. The movie opens up with a ski chase that's really, really good. But then we get a Beach Boys song in the middle of it, which is kind of goofy. So it had a little bit of goofiness stuff in it. This is the first time Dylan's watching it. Of course, all the James Bond movies, for the most part, this is the first time Dylan's watching it. So I'm going to let him go first. What did you think of Roger Moore's last movie, A View to a Kill?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like the opening music. You definitely can see he's getting a little old in the face, man. There's some spots where I was like, skin's a little less hanging, and but it was cool to see Grace Jones because I didn't know she was in this. I always thought she just did the one movie, Vamp. That you ever seen the movie Vamp?
Yeah, no, she did that in this.
Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, that's right. She's in Conan the Destroyer.
Yeah, that's right. So that's where I went. As soon as I saw her, I was like, "Oh shit, she's in Conan the Destroyer." Because the Arrow release came out, so I was looking at. I've been looking at the covers and that I noticed she was on there. And I was like, then I was like, she looks just like Grace Jones. And then I looked it up. I was like, that is fucking Grace Jones for Vamp. So that was cool. But I did not see
Dolph.
Yeah, I didn't see Dolph. I'll have to go back.
You missed him. He came down the set to visit Grace Jones one day because he was dating before he hooked up with his Bridget Nielsen, I guess.
Okay.
And the guy said, "You want to come and do a cameo?" And he was in it, but you blinked, you missed him. Yeah. I think it's the same year Rocky IV came out, around 85, I think, around that. So,
but I was very excited to see Christopher Walken be a villain in a James Bond movie. I've always loved Christopher Walken, and that's one thing that's always got me excited. Like when Christopher Lee was going to be a villain, those are things that my God, I can't wait. So Christopher Walken, that was a big one. And then finally, he's like a Russian ex-KGB, you know.
Right. He's a test tube baby of the
Yeah,
guy from the Nazi guy.
add that into like the little
And he's psychotic and all that.
thing, you
I
know.
mean, the motherfucker's blowing his own men away with the fucking machine guns and wiping them off.
Right.
And he
But
had the typical goofiness, you know.
the only thing that really threw me was just Roger Moore's face from time to time. You know, it was just a little
Yeah,
weird looking at because
he definitely
the man
did-
needs a little Botox for this
yeah,
one.
he went one picture too deep. Well, he was supposed to be all done after Moonraker, basically.
Oh
or-
wow!
No, it was what's
It's
the
still a
third
good
movie?
though.
Live and
It's
Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun. No, Spy Who Loved Me. It
Spy
was
Who
supposed
Loved
to
Me.
be done after Spy Who Loved Me, and they
That'd have been a great note.
yeah
to
they
have.
negotiated 3 more movies, and then he agreed to do this last one.
He's still great in it. Just like he is Bond
Right.
100%. That is my only real gripe, is though just like his face. Just there's just a few where I'm just like, it was just
Right,
it's just weird to see because it's like I feel like I've been watching him age through the years.
right. And this movie was only 2 years after the last one we watched. So I mean,
Crazy, bro.
2
Like
years hits you.
really like at first I was like, oh, he looks fine. And then just certain scenes, I was like,
Right.
I don't know what it was.
Well, especially if you go back and you watch his first movie, how young he was
Yeah,
in 71, and then
That's
how old.
it's crazy.
Man, age fucking gets you, man.
See Connery age out, and then you
Well,
see
look at the other person. You can see why it was her last movie is Moneypenny. Moneypenny got really old.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It was from fucking from Russia with Love, you know what I mean? Or Dr. No, it's like to see, you know,
Yeah, they were gonna have originally the Russian agent he gets in the hot tub was supposed to be the girl from A Spy Love Me. They originally cast her to come back and replay her character again, but she dipped out at the last moment. I forget who else they said. They said there was a lot of late minute additions to this
Tanya
movie.
Roberts though was awesome. It was great to see her too. I love Tanya Roberts. What
Yeah,
like,
Tanya Roberts wasn't even the first pick for this.
oh, I believe it. She's not really actor. I've
She's
never thought of her as an actor.
She did win it. She won a Golden Raspberry for this movie because she was bad in it.
I always would think of her as just a hot ass stand-in. You know what I mean? Like she's just there to look pretty. You know, she is never like she was great in that '70s show, but she's playing like a dumb hot woman. You know, what I mean? But that's the best actor.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe that
That
she's passed away. I mean, really hard to believe.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, she was absolutely gorgeous. I always loved her. And
yeah, it was gonna be Priscilla. It was gonna be Priscilla Presley.
Oh wow!
But at the last moment, they couldn't get her.
That's great. Yeah, that's understandable.
But
yeah, it was still she wasn't bad at all in this. I mean, she wasn't
no,
terrible.
she was fine. She was fine.
It would have been better to see her get naked, but you know. If you're gonna get Tanya Roberts, let's see some nudity at least.
That's right. Even Q at the end wanted to see a little bit. He sent the little robot in to see him.
Right.
He was creeping on him. He was vibing in the truck. Q.
Yeah.
And Q will be back. Q's not hanging up yet.
The same Q.
Yeah, he's not hanging up yet.
Okay.
But
does he hang it up for the Pierce Brosnan movies?
He's in it for Pierce. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think he makes it into Pierce. Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't wait to get to Pierce. It's crazy, man. I can't believe we got into Connery, now Roger Moore. We got through the two big ones, really.
And Roger Moore made most of all of them. He was in the most films, 7 movies. Yeah. So
I almost like after I was looking today, I was like, wow, man. I was like, it's so crazy that we got through these. And now I was like, I'm almost dreading the Daniel Craig.
Well, that's still a ways. That's a ways away. That's a ways away.
But I'm super excited for Timothy Dalton and Pierce.
But
so at least
and believe it or not, David Bowie was going to play Zoran originally, and he dipped out.
Oh, really? He was pretty good, actually.
I think he would have been pretty good. Yeah, he would have been interesting. You know, we got the quirkiness with Walken. He played it like a typical Christopher Walken type role. Yeah. You know,
and I'm sure he was still young at this, so he didn't have like his mannerisms and everything yet. So, but
he was pretty. This is 85. I mean, he has what year did True Romance come out? Is that in the 90s or the 80s?
No, that was.
early '90s.
I think that was 85.
Yeah, so I mean, he still had a lot under his belt by that point. But
Oh no, that's 93. What the fuck am I thinking?
okay.
I thought it was like 88. Yeah, no, it's 93. So no, that yeah, it's been a yeah. You got almost 8 years after.
And I thought, and I
He's
loved
very young in this still. I mean,
I love Duran's theme song too. "View to a Kill." I thought was a great.
oh yeah,
great
yeah.
tune.
I thought I mentioned the opening kill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the opening scene, of course, with the iceberg,
Yeah.
sub is kind of cool.
yeah,
And it's always good. I always like a good ski scene, you know.
yeah, me too. Me too.
But more or less, you know, they have taken the openings of these James Bond movies, and they used to have something to do with the plot, and now they kind of just set up the movie. They don't really have too much to do with the plot.
Oh, Christopher Walken had already done Deer Hunter, Dead Zone, and then
Yeah.
Kill, he did right after Dead Zone.
Yeah,
This was still the very begin. This was the very early stages of his career. That's what I meant by like
right.
he's not like that, like where he's got like this wasn't the Christopher Walken that we know where he's got like that voice. You know what I mean?
Like, he did a little bit when he go more power, like
Yeah.
more cowbell,
That's
more
what,
power,
like he's kind of
more
trying.
power.
He's finding himself. Still pretty young at this point, you know.
I love it. I love the ending there where the fucking airship is like a fucking million miles away and she's running, right? And,
Yeah.
and when they show her running to a Bond, the thing is still a million miles away. Then all of a sudden, Zorn just grabs her. It's like, how the fuck did he catch up to her that quick in the fucking airship? They don't move too fast. I love the car chase where Bond's car gets chopped in half. And
Yeah.
he's still driving around the car and it's half just the engine part of it.
Yeah.
That one was cool. I didn't like. I thought the fire stuff was goofy with the fire engine with that car.
Yeah, that was.
To me, that was probably one of the worst, I think, chases in the movie. That one was really. That one.
Car gets stuck together.
Yeah, that seemed really staged. Like if you took that out of the movie, it would have made fucking one bit of difference. None of them do. But that just seems very. That seemed very staged. They wanted to, something like they did in like Diamonds Are Forever, where the cops are chasing them.
Right.
The
scene when Grace Jones, when he's talking to Tanya Robertson, Christopher Walken's like, go get her, and then Tanya Roberts like, I'll take care of you personally. He's like, you promise? And then he like sneaks into the bedroom after. He's like, I've been waiting for you to come take care of me personally.
Hey, she still did them before she came.
Yeah, even at that old age. And
I'm mixed. I was always mixed in this movie, though. I liked Mayday as a villain, and I was kind of sad to see them do to her what they did to Jaws, which is make him a good guy, kind of, and have him become an ally of Bond. Because I would have liked one big fight scene between them at the end would have been cool,
right? Especially,
yeah. But she saw Zorn fucking try to murder her, so.
And Christopher Walken seemed like they were like partners, basically, you know.
Right. Until he tried to murder her, and then she said, "Fuck that, I'm gonna kill a motherfucker."
Right. Yeah.
But I never buy these scenes. You know, these scenes in movies where, you know, you put yourself in these things like she's got to hold the brake, you know, on the thing to get outside the thing. Otherwise, she just like throws her lives away, like she's gonna just die. Like, I'll hold the brake. Go get him for me. Yeah, it's like, come on, would you do that?
You go hold that shit.
Yeah, you stick a fucking brick under the fucking brake and jump off the motherfucker.
I ain't giving my shit up for this.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah, it's a movie. What are you gonna?
Yeah, the whole sequence.
You gotta have the sacrifice. Sacrifice.
Yeah, the sequence they did on the Eiffel Tower when she's going up and the guy dives off it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of good stuff in this movie. I love the stuff between him and Patrick McNee, John Steed from the Avengers, because as his driver, giving him all the
we were talking about. I love. He was great.
Yeah, give him all the orders there, and they put the recorders like, oh, what he's talking about? He goes, oh, I'm not talking about much, but I sure wouldn't want to be his valet. He's going, my shoes, going on and on.
He's washing the car.
Yeah.
go tell him you're gonna go. Tell him you're gonna go clean the car, and then he just throws it on the thing out there. And he looks at him. He's like, "I've been cleaning the car." I hated to see him get killed though.
Yeah, I know.
Even then, when they're in that fight scene, when they're like infiltrating the to find those memory chips, and then like he like tapes them on like on that conveyor belt, and he knocks the guys out and puts them on the conveyor belt, and it like wraps them up. He's like, "Oh, I think we wrapped everything up." Always one of those little one-liners, and he's like,
well, yeah, and then that scene.
There.
That scene where there's always like one guy. I think they do this in the Austin Powers movies too, where there's that one guy who doesn't want to go along with the plan. I'm just gonna ask you to step outside. Yeah. And then the fucking the good guy comes in. He goes, "Anybody else want to drop out?" But that's the thing I don't buy, and that's the difference I think between the Connery movies and the Roger Moore movies.
Yeah.
It's like Grace Jones was killing everybody, and she did kill Tippett, his driver, the other agent. She murdered the guy. She strangled him in the car wash. And Bond is like at the end, he's going, don't kill yourself, Mayday, save yourself. Come on.
Yeah.
Connery would have fucking blown her head off.
Yeah.
Because Connery doesn't forget.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the big difference toward the end. With
Connery would have been backhanding her ass, man.
Connery wouldn't have taken that. You blow my fucking way.
Roger Moore's 00 is a little more forgiving.
A little more forgiving. Well, that's just the way he's written.
He's a little more of a romancer at the end of the day, I feel like, where Connery is like, I romance to get my information, and then I'll throw the bitch to the wolves right after. Well,
I think that's the big thing. It was the era that we were in, though, too, where the 60s and the 70s,
definitely.
They were slapping the chicks around a little bit more, but they didn't want to do that as much in the 80s and the 90s.
I always love that one where he literally like beds the girl, Connor. I think it's in like From Russia with Love. He beds the woman and then like walks off, and then as she's walking out, he has her arrested. Like,
yeah, he's cold.
Cold as hell.
And then he goes, "You weren't that great."
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was a lot more.
That is definitely a good point. That Connery wouldn't let that go. He had acted like he was gonna forgive her, and then just to get what he needed, and then he had to kill her at the end, man. Because, like you said, Connery don't forget.
Right. So I mean, that's one thing on that. When they try to make the villains the good guys.
And Roger Moore is a little bit more too with the jokes, where he had like those one-liners. Connery had them too, but like Roger Moore was like almost like any time, like after a fight scene, he'd throw a one-liner out. Like Connery, like he used them sparingly, and like where Roger Moore.
Well, because I think Roger Moore fit him more, and he could do it better.
Definitely.
Roger Moore could do comedy better than Sean Connery could do comedy.
No doubt.
There's very little comedy in a Sean Connery movie.
I was gonna say, I think the only one.
I mean, can you see Sean Connery skiing down the hill to fucking Beach Boys? No, never happened.
Yeah, I barely bought the the jetpack things. That was like the closest you get to a little comedy with him was a jetpack. Right. And because the only comedic I ever really thought, and it's very little, is like Indiana Jones, Last Crusade. There's that, but he's playing, he's like on that
character, right?
Yeah, he was towards the end of his life, first off, too. So he probably was like, I want to do something different. I've been an action star my whole life, I'm more a hard body. So that's why I was like, I always figured he wanted to do that. Like, I'm this goofy teacher father, I'm this history major, because he's even like Indiana Jones is the badass. And
well, come on, the dad in that movie was banging the fucking. Was banging
what I'm saying though, like
banging the good
where he's calling him Junior and like beating up the Nazis. Connery's like, "What are you doing, son?" Like he can't because he's not like Connery wasn't about violence in that. So that's what I was like. That's what I mean by that, because obviously Connery's like in The Rock, all these movies, man, where he is a badass. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that yes, he's you can't have Connery. You can't have him not be a badass and then at least not bed some women, you know what I mean? It's Connery. So but yeah, I think that's probably why he took Indiana Jones, just to be like, I don't mind doing something a little different than normal.
Yeah. And then we get we get really two big set pieces at the end. We get the the everything blowing up and the flooding of the cave prior to the chase at the end. But then we get that whole fight on the San Francisco Bridge there, the Golden Gate Bridge. I thought they did that pretty well. You know, obviously film against blue screen and stuff, but it didn't look horrible. And sometimes, you know, even in this movie though, there's a couple scenes where you can catch like, oh man, that stunt man doesn't look like Roger Moore. It's like some of the stunt people they use in this, you could tell it's like, wow, not even close to Roger Moore.
Right.
But you know, a guy that's 2 foot shorter than him or whatever.
Yeah.
But and you know, in this movie, he wasn't doing his own stunts.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that was done pretty well. Of course, it doesn't show how the fuck he got down at the end. You know, I think when you ask people like, what is the worst Bond movie, they probably pick this one because they think it's the weakest of all. But I really don't think it is. I mean, I thought this is a pretty decent movie. I mean, all around. Yes, I think the thing that got this movie on that list is the fact that he looks so old. I think the moment they saw what he looked like in the movie, they checked out and they said the movie's trash. You know, but people forget the last movie that fucking, I'm not talking about Never Say Never Again, but the last Bond movie that Connery did, Diamonds Forever, he was looking pretty old. In fact, I think he looks younger in Never Say Never Again, probably because of his toupee, than he did in his last James Bond movie, original James Bond movie. So, yeah, same thing. I think Connery stayed a little too long, and so did Roger Moore. But still, overall, I thought a decent picture. So what do you think as far as some of the scenes, chase scene? What's your favorite chase scene in the movie, and your overall thoughts on it?
I was gonna say I'd probably, if I was gonna go, this isn't my least favorite. I don't think. I'd probably say maybe Octopussy might be my least favorite.
Really?
Maybe Octopussy, or no, not Octopussy. I'm sorry. I really enjoyed Octopussy. Is it For Your Eyes Only? I want to say. I think.
Really? I like For Your Eyes Only. I know. I like,
but that's not saying much.
Right,
I really, I'm just saying if I had to say like favorite, I enjoyed all these movies.
Yeah, I would say I like this one. I like this one a little bit better than Octopussy myself.
Octopussy, I really liked with all the women and stuff.
Yeah, but I think the ending on that one was a little weak with him in a clown outfit.
Yeah,
circus thing and diffusing the bomb. This one was
that.
This one was back to more. Yeah, this one was back to more of your big conflict at the end and all that.
I honestly, I couldn't say that I had like maybe with Octopussy's ending, I hated that. That's the only thing I could probably say about any of those Bond movies. Where most of them, I like all of them, but
there's none. Well, we haven't gotten to some of the other ones yet, but there's none. There's none in this group that we've watched so far that I would not watch.
Yeah,
they're all entertaining.
That's when I even say like, oh, this one might be my least favorite. I will love all. I liked all these movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did not like the ending of Octopussy at all. That
it was a little weak. It was a weak ending. You know, they could have done more with that ending than they did. So. This one was a little bit more of a return to the grand ending that we get in those movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, honestly, I would say I've enjoyed every single one of these. And I wouldn't say like how you're just saying, oh, people didn't like this one. No, not at all. Like I had a blast with this. And every one I'm locked into, you know what I mean? But yeah, like Octopussy, that ending with the clown stuff, that threw me out. And I remember we were laughing about that. But yeah, if I even said like, oh, For Your Eyes Only was my least favorite, I still like the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I could never see that.
I can't even pick a least favorite, honestly. Yeah. Because the only reason I would say maybe least favorite Octopussy is because of the ending. Otherwise, I love the whole movie all the way through. It's just that ending. Because I really enjoyed I liked Octopussy having the all-girl villain, and you know, it was a little something different.
Well, and I also think in this movie, Octopussy, the lack of focus, like who is the villain in that movie?
Right.
You start off with Louis Jourdan, who's and then you go to the Russian general.
Yeah.
And then it's Maud Adams for a short time, but then she turns over to goes with Bond. So
Yeah.
like that movie had no focus. The villain.
Yeah.
This one, Christopher Walken is the villain from the
Yeah.
beginning to the end,
This brought it back, like you said.
and brought
like,
back more to your one villain there, and even the same thing with Few Eyes Only. That one's you don't know who the villain. It's ultimately Christados at the end. You find out you think he's the good guy and he's really the bad guy, but
Right.
he's the villain, and he wasn't a great villain. He was a wishy-washy villain. So this is, I think, your first movie back
Yeah.
after Few Eyes Only and Octopussy, where you get the kind of over-the-top classic Bond villain.
Yeah.
That's a psycho that wants to do something to, blow up the world. I mean, I think if they could have used Spectre, they would have used Spectre in this. Now they're using the Russians because they can't do Spectre.
Yeah.
So that's why they do that. And they bring out that Gogol, General Gogol. Fucking Bond even gets a medal from fucking the Russians at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be, it's not Few Eyes Only, it's not Octopussy. Christopher Walken's up there. You got Dax from Moonraker. You got,
You got Christopher Lee.
And you got the guy that played the guy in the Underwater City. I think
It's tough.
Christopher Lee, and I think tied with the guy from Spy Who Loved Me, because I like that whole dude in the Underwater City.
Yeah. What the fuck does he look like? I'm trying to think.
Which guy?
Spy Who Loved Me.
That's Kurt Jurgens. That's the old guy. Forget his name there.
Kurt Jurgens, Stromberg.
Stromberg, right?
Yeah.
Stromberg's not bad. Dax is pretty good. But I think we have to be in agreement that the Connery series had the best villains.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you got
Goldfinger, Dr. No. You got that dude from Russia with Love, the guy from Jaws.
Yeah, and then that's what I was gonna say. When you said Jaws, I'm thinking Jaws.
Right.
Yeah, the guy from fucking Quint from Jaws. Yeah.
And as you said, I think we'd have to get probably the most disappointing villain, as you said in the Connery one, to Donald Pleasance, who we both thought was going to be doing more than we did.
God, yes.
But
I was so excited for that, man. And that was the big.
Yeah, he's one. I would say, of the big names who were villains in this series so far, his was probably the weakest.
Yeah,
because the rest of them did pretty good job.
Barely got anything too. Yeah,
Right.
he could have been really good if they really let him go all out with it. But
yeah, I think Christopher Lee did a great job of playing a villain who's a villain, but also an equal of Bond at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
So I really liked his villain.
Honestly, I might because it's tough, man. I'd go like Christopher Lee. And then Christopher Walken, and then the spy.
And we can't forget the guys in Diamonds Forever, the two gay assassins. I love those two guys.
Yeah.
Mr. Quint.
Connery.
Okay, Mr. Quint.
Connery had such good ones, man. All of his
Pussy galore. Yeah, he had. That's when they were doing it on all cylinders there. So
good. Well, because too, my least favorite would be what was it? The second one. Is it Live and Let Die? Where.
Yeah, the Kananga, the
one that's in New York or whatever.
Right. Yeah, he was kind of a weak
dealer.
Yeah, he was kind of a weak villain.
That might be my least favorite of the Bond movies.
He was probably.
That's probably my least favorite of the Bond movies.
Of the Bond movies or the Roger Moore
movies.
Oh yeah.
Movies, yeah. That would be my least favorite.
Yeah, he wasn't a great villain.
I wasn't the craziest about that movie. That I liked the movie, but that would be like the one that I'm like least likely to go back and watch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And the other ones I all was locked in, and I like the villains and stuff. You know what I mean? But that was like a street. I know that they like everyone can't be a world-ending one, which I enjoyed. But something about that one I just didn't. And I know that was the time, New York and. That they had all those.
They made that like a black exploitation picture.
Yeah, I just I don't know. There's the voodoo stuff in that. I just it was just.
They had some cool stuff, and I love that.
Cool, but for James Bond, I just felt it was off.
Yeah,
Not a bad movie at all, but that would just be my least
Mhm.
favorite of the Bonds.
All right, so we come to an end of Roger Moore. It's been a long 7 films. Now we're going to jump into
Timothy Dalton, baby.
Timothy Dalton with The Living Daylights will be the next one we do.
I
The
can't
first,
wait.
the
It's gonna be
first,
so weird seeing another Bond, man. It's like we've been on Roger Moore, man. It feels like, for a fucking decade.
yeah, it'll be a short stay with him because he only has 2 films, but it's still,
Are his 2 films good?
yeah.
Or is it like one's good, the second one's okay,
Yeah, I would say that.
I was just curious. Since,
I like the second one, but the second one came out in '89, and that was the movie. That was the year that Last Crusade came out, and all the movies in that year flopped. Star Trek V flopped. That Bond movie kind of didn't flop, but it was poor for a Bond movie. So '89 and that's the year Batman came out because Batman just ran over everything,
Yep, understand.
Batman and then Last Crusade, everything was Batman. So anything else that came out that year it didn't do well. But but I still enjoy it for a certain degree. So we got a couple Timothy Daltons before we move on to Pierce Brosnan. So we got some good stuff coming up.
Hell yeah.
So right now, our Never Say Never Again review is out there. This will probably be going up within a week or two. So, hey, good stuff coming.
Yep, and be on the lookout for which one's the next Timothy Dalton? The Living Daylights?
Living Daylights will be the next one we're doing. So keep an eye out for that one.
Keep an eye out, yeah.
All right, cool, man. Well, thank you for coming in, Dylan, watch another Bond movie with me. Everybody who came in to watch these, either on my channel or Dylan's channel, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
It's an end of an era.
End of an era. So we retire Roger Moore. He can go off and live and count his money and all that. Unfortunately,
Roger Moore's still alive?
No, he passed away in 2018. But
really,
yeah. No, he went on to after Roger. He had made a couple movies, I think, after the Bond films, but he pretty much retired. He became ambassador to
Roger Moore. It says.
Yeah, he got knighted.
He got knighted.
He became ambassador to UNICEF, which is a children's organization. He did a lot of good work in the last years of his life, and
good for him.
And he was supposedly a nice guy. Of all the guys, I guess Connery could be kind of Connery. Roger Moore was always a nice guy to people. So
I was gonna say, from watching some interviews and stuff, it seemed like he was a very very well liked man. Yeah. There's a really cool picture of like him, Connery, and Michael Caine and Kevin Kline at the Oscars, and it's a pretty cool picture. I'll have to send it to you. But Roger Moore's got like a mustache and like a full beard.
That's probably close to the end of his life. Yeah.
No,
no.
I mean Roger Moore has a full beard.
Right.
It would be probably towards the end of Connery's life.
Right. Yeah.
But what year does it say? 61st Annual Academy Awards. Actually, this says 1989. The photo was taken. So
could have been.
Connery died in what? Late night, early night.
No, Connery didn't die until like the 2000s.
Was it? I thought it was late 90s. Oh wait.
No, I think he died after Roger Moore.
No, he died in 2020, dude. Who the fuck am I thinking of?
Roger Moore died a couple years before.
Yeah, good. What am I? Sean Connery just died a few years ago during like COVID. Yeah.
I think Roger Moore was a little older than Sean Connery, not by much, but a little bit.
Yeah. Roger Moore died at 89, and Sean Connery died at 90.
Oh, well, pretty close.
You're kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So Roger Moore was a little bit older than Connery.
Yeah, a little bit older.
Wow.
Not much.
But it's weird that, like he started and like he stopped because Connery was looking older and Roger Moore like went and he was older. It was just weird. But oh yeah, man. I've been having such a blast with these, man. So thanks. It's been great doing these, man. So can't wait for Timothy Dalton, though, brother.
All right, man. We'll catch you for the next one, Living Daylights. Everybody have a good week, and we will catch y'all later.
See you next time, y'all.
Out, everybody. Balloons.